Hey everybody, it's Icebomb here, and just like to go into a little bit of a rant today, if you'll indulge me, about Canadian cell phone providers. Now, Canadians pay more for cell service than pretty much anywhere else on Earth. We pay more than the Americans, which I'll get into in a little bit, and we certainly pay more than the Europeans. Um, but let's just go into a little bit of a journey of discovery, shall we? So, what do Canadians pay for cell service? Well, as you can see, I've got the Rogers website up in front of me. Um, and the plans I'm about to highlight are the absolute cheapest smartphone plan you can get. They offer data, voice, and messaging. Absolute cheapest plans you can get from the big three and others. So from Rogers, you get 1 GB a month, local calling, unlimited messaging. They don't even offer Canada-wide calling. For that, you got to pay extra. And you're paying $75 a month. Absolutely ridiculous price. So that's Rogers. What about Bell? All right, so with Bell, we're going to bring our own device. We're going to do the unlimited local because it's cheaper. Ooh, we're only getting 500 megabytes of data. A little bit cheaper, right? Half the data, but $5 cheaper. You're only paying 70. But wait a second. If you go up to the 1 GB price point, it's $75. It's the exact same service and the exact same price as Rogers. Wow, that's competition, right? These guys, they don't talk to each other and collude. Um, they just see what everybody else is charging for the exact same service, and they just match the prices so that they can make the absolute most amount of money. They know you got to pick one of them, so you're kind of done, right? So that's Bell. Let's go over to TELUS. Again, we're going to bring our own device. 300 local daytime minutes, not great. 1 GB of data, $65 a month. TELUS ends up being cheaper here, but you don't get as much for your money. If you gotta go up to, or if you want to go up to the unlimited local calling to match the other guys, you're paying $70 a month. So $5 cheaper. That's not real competition. That's just, again, you gotta. They figure, well, you gotta pick one of us. We're all gonna set our prices to be pretty much the same. So we got you no matter what. All right, so that's TELUS. Gonna look at Fido here. This is a little bit of an anomaly. Fido is actually owned by Rogers, in case you didn't know. What do they offer? Well, they have a plan at $35 a month. That seems pretty reasonable for a price, but what do you get with it? Well, you only get 100 megabytes of data. You are going to blow through that just by web browsing for a month. If you do even moderate web browsing, you're going to be blowing through that. 200 minutes, three and a quarter hours, 3 1/3 hours. That's not terrible. Um, but if you want to go up and actually match the other guys, you're going to pay $50 a month. You get the 1 GB at 500 minutes. Well, all right, that's still cheaper than Rogers. But wait, Fido is owned by Rogers. Um, but they can offer the same, pretty much the same plan at $50 under the Fido name as they do under Rogers for $75. Why did they do that? Well, simply because they can. Again, you got to pick one of them, and they're hoping you pick the Rogers name so that you'll pay more. But you got to absolutely understand they're still making money hand over fist at the $50 price point. So that's what Canadians pay. That's interesting, right? Um, but what about Americans? Well, I have actually done the math. And if I were to go down to the US, sign up for Google Fi, and just bring it back to Canada, if I used 1 GB of data a month and 200 minutes and roam constantly in Ontario, that's where I live, Ontario, um, it would cost $50 US, which if you convert it into Canadian dollars as of today, I think we're 76 cents on the US dollar. It's 65.56. Whoa, what's up with that? An American company can provide me pretty much the same service and roaming fees on top of that at a cheaper price than than Canadian companies. That just proves to you that it's absolute greed and profiteering. They could offer these cell phone services at a much lower rate. In fact, as all the plans that I've highlighted, these are all pretty much the same across the country, except for two uh, big differences. What if I lived in, say, Manitoba? Well, let's take a look. Whoa, look at that. Now for the same plan somebody in Ontario pays for 75 bucks, Manitobans only pay $45 for. 30 freaking dollars less? Why is that? And it happens in Saskatchewan too. The reason why is because Manitoba and Saskatchewan have local, regional cell phone telecom service providers. Manitoba has MTS, Manitoba Telecom Services, and Saskatchewan has SaskTel. The big three have to compete with them, and the local providers offer the same services at much lower price points. So the big three have to lower their price points as well, or else nobody will sign up for them. That's actual competition. But unfortunately it's not going to last because Bell is already in talks to buy out MTS. I think the deal's already done, and SaskTel is already being eyed to be bought out by one of them. I can't remember what. I don't think they've announced yet, but it's probably going to happen soon. So what this means is that if you go Manitobans with actual competition pay much less, and that just proves that it's not any of the garbage and not any of the lies that the big three are telling with regards to, oh, Canada has such a large landmass and lower population, so we have to charge more to provide the same service as, say, the United States or Europe. It's absolute garbage. Why is that? Well, you think about it, Manitoba and Saskatchewan are very large provinces. Their population density is very low. In fact, it's not any cheaper to provide cell phone service to somebody in Manitoba than it is to somebody in Ontario. It's the same amount of money to provide the same service, or possibly even higher, because Manitoba and Saskatchewan have a lower population density. You got to build more towers for less amount of people. This just goes to show you that they could offer the same amount of the same services for drastically lower prices. They just won't because they want a profiteer. So what can you do about it? Well, there are ways to get reasonable cell phone service at a reasonable price. Unfortunately, it requires a little bit of technical knowledge and a little bit of work. You do need an unlocked phone to do this, but it actually works pretty well. Fido offers a tablet flex plan that is basically only data. Basically what you're just using the cell phone provider as a dumb data pipe. That's it. You're not getting your voice or your messaging through them. If you sign up and get a data plan for them, and then sign up for a voice over IP service, VoIP service, such as VoIP.ms, that's the one I'm using, so it's the one that I'm familiar with. They'll only charge you 85 cents a month for your number, and 0.9 cents a minute for incoming, and 0.5 cents a minute for outgoing calls. That's absolutely nuts. You sign up, you get your voice through them. The data is actually really good. If you use the GSM codec, you're using approximately 100 kilobytes a minute for voice, which means if you were to use that in a 1 gigabyte, it would take you 7.2728 days to use that up. So on a 3 gigabyte plus 1,000 minutes, you would pay $34.85, 35 bucks. Not going to teach you how to do it. I'm just telling you it's possible to do. I might actually teach you in a separate video, but I'm not going to do that today. So if you're interested in that, subscribe. I might throw it up. But just share this. Get the word out. These guys need to be stopped. They're robbing Canadians blind. And there's absolutely almost nothing that we can do about it other than go these types of routes. So thanks for watching, guys. Share it. Get the word out.